everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. You know, I'm feeling pretty sad right now. Why, you ask? Well, a few days ago, before 2023 began, I heard that sometime after this month, Ash Ketchum and his beloved partner Pikachu will no longer be the main characters of the Pokémon anime series, and they'll be replaced by two new children named Lyco and Roy. And to me, that's very sad, since Ash and Pikachu have been the stars of the Pokémon show ever since it began in the late 1990s. And I admit, as I said before, I wasn't always into Pokémon, but after seeing Mewtwo Strikes Back in theaters with my dad back in November 1999, that's when my love of Pokemon truly began. And it's also sad that I don't talk about Pokemon as much as I used to during my elementary through high school ages, due to more and more new Pokemon being introduced as time moved on. Anyway, over the years, ever since season 2 of my blog series, I blogged almost every single Pokemon movie that I currently own, except for the black and white movies, the X and Y movies, the 10th anniversary special, the Origins movie, the Legend of Thunder special, and the first movie's CGI remake. However, ever since the 2020 virus happened, there was one movie from the reboot trilogy that I've been wanting to blog on my series. And now that I have it on Blu-ray, now would be the perfect time to blog it as a fitting farewell special. So, let's get started. Released in Japan on Christmas Day 2020 and to Netflix on October 8th, 2021, the movie is Pokémon the Movie: Secrets of the Jungle. And now, on for the plot of the movie. The film centers on Coco, a young boy who lives in the Forest of Okoya, along with his Dada, a solitary Zarude, and has been raised by Pokemon ever since infancy. One day, while Coco journeys out of his jungle home, he meets Pokemon trainer Ash Ketchum and Pikachu, and he discovers a plot that threatens his home. So, what do I think? Well, in my eyes, this movie was absolutely excellent, and it deserves to be one of the best Pokemon movies ever, up there with Spell of the Unknown, Detective Pikachu, Destiny Deoxys, The Rise of Darkrai, and a few others. But in order to explain why I love this movie, let's move on to Mustang notes. The movie was directed by Tetsuo Yajima, who had previously directed Pokémon the Series XY and the movie The Power of Us. Fun fact, originally, the movie was going to be released in Japan on July 10th, 2020, but it was sadly delayed to Christmas due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and because of that, the movie became largely unsuccessful at the box office, having the lowest proceeds ever since the 19th Pokemon movie. And it wouldn't be until October 18th, 2022, when the movie would finally get a home media release. As for the animation, well, to me, the Japanese animation is absolutely fantastic. Not just with the humans and Pokemon, but also with the locations from the Forest of Okoya and Melifa Town, which are both simply breathtaking. And I think the CGI for the villains' vehicles and mech are pretty good too. And I also think the movie makes a great coming-of-age story, despite the fact that it feels pretty similar to most jungle movies that we've seen before, like Tarzan, Ferngully, James Cameron's Avatar, or even The Jungle Book. Plus, it kind of brings back memories from the Kangaskhan Kid episode, which took place in the Safari Zone in the Kanto region. Plus, I like how the movie gives us a nice message about how humans and Pokemon should coexist with one another. Also to mention, I found it pretty interesting that this movie is the first to not feature a legendary Pokemon, despite the fact that a shiny Celebi appears at the end. And now, let's move on to the film's characters and voice actors. Our hero, Ash Ketchum, is voiced by Sarah Natochenny, who voiced Mowgli in the CGI Jungle Book TV series and Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, The Quest for the Never Book. To me, I still think that Ash is a brave, friendly, but a little risky kid. And I like that he's determined to be the world's greatest Pokemon master. In this movie, Ash visits the Forest of Okoya in search of adventure and new Pokemon. However, upon meeting Coco, he sets off a chain of life-changing events for him. Also, in my opinion, I think Ash makes a great new friend while helping Coco learn what it means to be human. Also to note, I like that this movie marks the first time where Ash mentions his father, after his mom Delia had to reference him twice priorly. Next we have Ash's best friend and partner, Pikachu, vocalized by the legendary Iko Otani. Ever since my childhood, I always thought that Pikachu was awesome, due to it being the most famous Pokemon of all time. And believe you me, Pikachu always makes me smile every time it's on screen, due to its cute voice and smile, its friendly personality, its loyalty, and its cleverness. And I think its attacks are absolutely incredible, like Thundershock, Thunderbolt, Iron Tail, and others. During this movie, upon meeting Coco, Pikachu is surprised that it can understand what Coco is saying. Plus, I like that Pikachu's ability to communicate with Coco helps facilitate a friendly introduction between Coco and Ash. Also, I'm not sure if I ever talked about this before on my show, but I think it's pretty cute that whenever Pikachu says Ash's name in its language, it says Pikapi, which comes pretty close to saying Ash's Japanese name, Satoshi. Here, I'll show you an example with a little theorized translation.
Pika, Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikapi.
Next we come to the wacky Team Rockets, Jessie, James, and Meowth, voiced by Michelle Knotts and James Carter Cathcart. In my eyes, these three are still shenanigan villains who stalk and spy on Ash during his travels, and they try to steal Pokemon. But during this movie, they disguise themselves as new employees while infiltrating the Biotube company in search of whatever they can steal for Giovanni. However, what surprised me about them is that they unintentionally discover an old video log in Dr. Zed's office, showing him descending into madness, and they were able to leak all that evidence to the public. So, in other words, Team Rocket uncovered a twist villain scheme. Who knew? Next up is the movie's main character, Coco, aka Al Molybdenum, voiced by Kinlan Tran. Coco is a young jungle boy who lives in the Forest of Okoya under the care of Dada Zarud ever since he was a baby. As Coco grows up, he begins to realize that he's not quite the same as other jungle Pokemon. Fun fact, the theme of Coco being raised as a Pokemon may act as a reference to the theme of Tarzan being raised as an ape in Tarzan of the Apes, and the theme of Mowgli being raised as a wolf in the Jungle Book. And it's also pretty similar to the Kangaskhan Kid, where Tommy was also raised by Pokemon. However, unlike Tommy, whom was separated from his parents and was raised by Kangaskhan ever since he was 3, Coco was raised by Zarud ever since infancy. And his parents were killed in a car accident when they were trying to escape from Dr. Zed. To me, I think Coco is a brave and tough young jungle boy, and he's also very curious about life outside his jungle home. Also, Coco is very loyal and friendly to the other jungle Pokemon. Plus, I thought his backstory on what happened to his parents was really shocking and tear-jerking. Plus, after meeting Ash and Pikachu, I like that Coco learns to speak human language and learns what it's like to actually be human. Also, I like that Coco's best friend is a Squovit, a squirrel-like Pokemon. Plus, I found it very surprising that Coco is the first human in the Pokemon anime series to be depicted using a Pokemon move, as he uses jungle healing to help his Dada recover from his injuries. And I also like that at the end of the movie, Coco decides to travel the world and act as a bridge between humans and Pokemon. Next we have Coco's caretaker, Dada Zarude, voiced by Edward Bosco, who voiced the radio demon Alistair from the Has-Been Hotel pilot, which I blogged last year. For those who don't know, Zarude is a dark/grass type Pokemon resembling a baboon or a mandrill. The thing that I find cool about Zarude is that it can extend prehensile vines from its wrists, neck, and the soles of its feet at will, and it uses said vines to attack, swing from trees, and collect food from a distance, as well as rapidly heal wounds and absorb energy from trees. Anyway, about Dada. In this movie, after he found baby Coco, he left his troop and raised the boy over the past 10 years. But when Coco meets Ash, Dada Zarude is forced to acknowledge the truth about Coco's identity. And in my opinion, like most Zarude, Dada is very ferocious, aggressive, and territorial. But he also has a soft-heartedness, loyal, and protective side to him. And the fact that he's never had a family of his own makes him very sympathetic. Plus, I also like that Dada wears a pink ripped cape bearing Celebi's Pokedex number. And I also thought he was a really great father figure for Coco. Also to note, while all the Zarude are seen speaking human language, it is not through telepathy or them learning to speak, but rather their speech being translated for the audience's benefit whenever they're seen communicating with each other, Coco, or the other jungle Pokemon. As a result, in scenes in which other humans besides Coco meet the Zarude, they are shown to be like other Pokemon and can only say their names. Another character to talk about is the movie's main villain, Dr. Zed, voiced by Billy Kometz. Zed is the leader of the Biotope Company research team who is searching for a spring with healing powers on the Forest of Okoya. To me, while Zed is usually calm and reasonable, this is merely a persona to mask his cruel, ambitious nature, and it's later revealed that he's the one responsible for orphaning Coco. You see, Zed is the kind of villain who prioritizes the well-beings of humans over Pokemon, and he's willing to destroy natural environments without any regard for the Pokemon living there. His ambition is so great that he even has little hesitation to eliminate anyone who stands in his way, so long as he gets what he desires, and he has no loyalty for his colleagues. In summation, Dr. Zed is one of the few characters in the Pokemon anime who is purely evil with no redeeming qualities, along with Gring's Kodai, Hunter J, Alva, the Iron Mask Marauder, and Dr. Young. Also, in addition to his cruel and sociopathic behavior, Dr. Zed is also cowardly. You see, when his mecha's battery was destroyed thanks to Pikachu's Iron Tail attack, he fled, even going as far as attempting to stupidly jump off a cliff into a river rather than face his defeat. Thankfully, at the end of the movie, Dr. Zed was arrested based on his confession and other evidence leaked to the public by Team Rocket. Finally, we have Sharon, voiced by Michelle Ruff. Not much to say about her other than the fact that she works as a biotope researcher and as an assistant to Dr. Zed. She collects water samples in order to analyze their composition for clues about the location of the forest healing spring. To me, I find Sharon to be a very kind-hearted woman, and I like that she and her colleagues are not evil or insane like Dr. Zed. And she's also unaware of Zed's true intentions until they're revealed. After Zed's defeat, Sharon helps repair the damage caused to the Forest of Okoya. And now on to my final words. Overall, Pokémon the movie Secrets of the Jungle is a fantastic movie. The Japanese animation is amazing. It features lots of great Pokémon, old and new. It has an epic, heartwarming, and thrilling story, even if it shares a few elements from a few films we've seen before. The soundtrack is underrated. The main character, Coco, is a very relatable jungle kid. His Dada Zarude makes a great father figure. Ash and Pikachu are fun supporting characters, and like I said earlier, I am gonna miss them as main characters in the anime after this month. Team Rocket had a pretty interesting role in this, even though there's still shenanigans, and the villain, Dr. Zed, is an insane madman. Also to mention, I like how this movie gives a great moral about not only the bonds between human and Pokemon, but also about family. So, if you folks want to check this movie out, either look for it on DVD, Blu-ray, or on Netflix. And don't be afraid to share this movie with your children because I'm sure they'll have a great time watching it too. And so, I give this movie the highest rating of 100%. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me next time where we look at a horse race movie which centers on a zebra. Mustang Power.